Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so keeping it local once again today. Grabbing some stuff from Target for Bible study. It's like 2 o'clock. I'm getting out late today. Got out of bed late today. All that late today. But it's been a good day so far. I can't complain any. A little drained, I guess you can say. The Lakers stuff is draining me, man. They put too many games together in clusters and stuff, back-to-backs and all that. So I'm a bit tired mentally just from reading a bunch of numbers every day, but you know, I'm enjoying the fact that I get to do what I love to do, so I can't really complain too much, man. I just gotta run with it and just roll. How we doing today?
How are you?
Pretty good, thank you. Excuse me, little buddy. And so yeah, man, that's really what's going on. Just trying to make a way for myself to just get through the schedule, man. The Lakers schedule. Watch all the highlights. Luckily enough, I did kind of do some good preliminary work as it pertains to watching highlights leading up to this hell week that we've been on. So I didn't have to do too much of that in the last minute. But this upcoming week, I'm not as prepared right now. So it just keeps coming, man. We're reaching the halfway point tonight, and team's struggling. And you know, they say in sports, winning cures all, but losing makes everything worse. And so that's what it is. I'm just tired. I'm tired of all of this. Frustrated, and that eats away at the energy. So yeah, man, aside from that, I'm doing pretty good though. I mean, my personal life, everything else is fine. Just ain't had time to really do anything else. It's kind of eating up all my time, to be honest with you, trying to keep up with the team and as many games as they played this week, and then of course the doctor's appointment and all of that earlier in the week. So it's kind of been it, man. It seemed like I closed my eyes, open up, and it's time to do Lakers stuff. Like literally, that's what it's been this week. Did some art yesterday. I liked it. Finally did a CD that I actually like the art of. All the music has been good lately, but the CD art has been really hit or miss, mostly miss. But last night I did a good one. I did one the day before as well, which I thought was okay, pretty solid. So I'm all caught up on all of my playlist work as it pertains to doing art for playlists. I'm finally all caught up for the first time in almost 2 weeks. And so yeah, I did some good pieces, a couple of good pieces here and there throughout the course of this process. So it's been a good art week for me. And yeah, that's really what it is for me, man. Just continuing in the journey of not eating meat. You know, this is what, week 2 or week 3 of no meat. So I think the meat gives you energy as well. I think there's a certain strength that comes from eating as much protein as I was having. And so the absence of that, I think, is kind of eating away at my energy a little bit, but it's also helping me feel a bit lighter on my feet, less congestion. So it's give or take. You know, when you remove something from your diet, there's things that come with it. And I'm still trying to get a feel for how my body is appreciating or not appreciating not having meat. Not really certain. I feel like I'm weaker. I really do. I feel like there's less energy. And so that's really what it is. But I do also feel like I've been losing weight. I feel like my body's been a little more sore with my exercising, which means that muscle is going to be put on. Probably more likely to slim down over the next couple of weeks from moving meat. So that's really what it's about, slimming down and you know, hopefully getting more out of my workouts. So I don't know, we'll see what happens here. Too early to tell. I don't really have a feel for what's going on there with that. Honestly don't. But I tell you, I do miss eating meat. Like, I tell you, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm really not. I'm not a vegetarian. My natural inclination is to be a carnivore. I eat meat. Problem is, meat doesn't really like me, and I'm trying to find solutions for a lot of my struggles. So if I have to pretend like I'm a vegetarian for a little while, I'll do it. But I can assure you that's not my attitude. I don't want to do that. I want to eat meat as much as possible. If I have a choice, I would probably throw out vegetables and all that. I wouldn't eat all of that if it weren't absolutely necessary to keep the body healthy. And so that's what I'm saying to y'all, man. I'm really in a mindset that you know, I'm doing what I have to do, not necessarily what I want to do when it comes to my meal choices. I'm the guy that wants to eat steak, chicken, lobster, all of that. I want to eat all of that. Everything walking that's edible, except for pork, because I just don't really like pork that much. Outside of that, I eat it, man. But not in this era. I'm thinking about all the bad foods that I ate growing up, considered bad foods, because they're not healthy, they taste great. And to see where I'm at right now, it's amazing to see how far I've come, changing my ways in that regard, man. But yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good. Outside of that, I have no complaining. And you know, it's been a lot going on in the world, obviously, and I always attempt to try to address things that are going on in the world, man. But I think lately my head has been so in outer space that when I attempt to talk about things in regards to the world, I end up getting to like these spiritual conversations about how we're supposed to move and how we're not supposed to move based on my understanding. It's hard for me to be on the earth sometimes with my conversations. Even if I attempt to talk about earthly conversations, it always brings me to spiritual conversations. I've been noticing that even more so lately. But I do want to pray for everybody and just send out good energy to everybody who's affected by the things that are taking place on the earth today. People are being harassed by ICE and all the stuff that they're doing in Minnesota, which seems to be, as I mentioned once before, a testing ground. Just like I think Gaza is a testing ground. You know, for genocide, I think Minnesota's a testing ground right now for martial law and military occupation. They're trying to see how this goes, how much they can deal with. You know, and it was an incident yesterday, although I don't know the name of the guy, so kind of come unprepared. But it was a guy who went to Minnesota yesterday, and I guess his intention was to, protest the protesters. Anyone who was unhappy with ICE, he was essentially going up there to bring his bullhorn, and he was going to call himself gathering all of the people who supported his side of things to kind of bring a rebellion against the rebellion, so to speak, support of ICE. And he went down there and almost lost his life messing with all those people who were protesting. He ended up there's footage of him being cornered. His head was bleeding. And it was a situation where there was a few black people, a few brothers who escorted him to his car amongst all the chaos and all the people surrounding the situation, you know, heckling him, kicking him to the ground and all of that. It was a few black people who saved his backside, and he had been very critical of us, very critical of a lot of things having to do with just liberalism, you know, white supremacy nonsense, anything that doesn't give people an opportunity to be themselves in the name of Christianity, you know, all that stuff that a lot of people subscribe to. He was essentially siding with the fascism. I don't know. It is fascism after all this. It's nothing but Zionist Jews behind a bunch of blackmailed politicians that's really driving all of this. But he's siding with that for whatever reason, and it almost cost him yesterday. It almost cost him his life. He was lucky to have the people around him that were willing to help him, because if he wouldn't have had those people there, I don't think he survived that. My gut tells me he doesn't survive that at all. They trample him and they take him out, and that's it. But naturally, my people are always willing to support somebody no matter what. Our humanity always bleeds through, despite people always saying how we're, you know, the big bad wolves and we're the savages or whatever else people have been saying about us for the last 3,000 years. And when it really come down to it, it's always us saving the people who've been, you know, saying the worst about us. People who want the worst for us. When they get in trouble, it's usually us saving their asses. That's what I've noticed a lot of times throughout the course of history. And the narrative of how we're bad people just ends up blowing up in their face, just like the narrative that they have so much natural support out here in these streets for all of this evil stuff that they're intending to do is blowing up in their face. You know? And the same situation that happened in Australia when they had that shooter out there shooting up all them Jewish people or whatever. And here come a Muslim man saving their ass, taking down the shooters. I mean, how many times they gonna see God expose their irony to them? This stuff ain't got nothing to do with their script. These are things that are outside of their script, showing them exactly what the reality is of what it is they do. Showing everybody who's watching what the reality is of what's going on versus what it is they tell you. Racism is not a reflection of anything actually merited. You know, it's not. It's not. It's Satanism. And Satan is a loser, as I often say. So anybody who's following him is going to end up being embarrassed and exposed. Ultimately end up mistaken in whatever it is they're measuring. I mean, we keep saying it, but it shows in everything that they got going on. Anytime they do any damn thing, it's always something like this coming on. Show the truth of what's really there versus what it is they're pushing. No exception. You can continue to see more of that going forward too. And look, I'll tell you like this. A lot of the white supremacists, man, a lot of what it is that they're pushing, it doesn't have the organic support that they think it does. Not in 2026. There may be a lot of people who support them. But if they overestimate what they see on the internet versus what is actually on the streets, they're going to find out that a lot of what it is that they think is support, organic support, is really bot farms. It's bot farming a lot of times. Half of the people you think are racist are really not even represented in this country. When you see it online, and we talked about this, a lot of them, they're not real people. It's, you know, bots in Indonesia and India and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Pushing out narratives probably created by AI. It's meant to create the guise of a certain organic support that if you go out in the street, you're not going to find. Evil's always lying about something, and one of the things it wants to lie about is how much support it has. And so that's what ends up getting people in trouble. They end up thinking they see a lot of support until they actually get on the streets and find out that support's not there. It ain't there. That's not what's really there, friends. That person that you think agree with you, that's a bot farm. They come from a fake account. When you get on the street, you're going to find out there's very few people who agree with that crowd. There's very few people who think it's wise to follow you as you do. And so that's another thing that I think old dude ran into. I think he thought he was going to be able to gather so many people in Minnesota to come out there and support this crazy ICE mission that they're on. No, you're not going to find too many people who support that. You're not going to find too many people who support that at all. Why? For one, it's inhumane. There's a lot of people who are not going to align with inhumane stuff. But for two, a white woman was just killed. A white woman, like an actual Caucasian person, American. So it's going to be even less people who support that, who would otherwise not give a damn if it were a black person or a brown person. They ain't going to support that. When it starts knocking on their door, they start feeling like it's getting closer to too close for home. And see, the sad thing about what it is that we're seeing here is that now people are starting to sense the urgency that black people and brown people have been screaming out for many decades at this point in this country. You know, I'm seeing so many good intended, nice, warm-hearted white people online ringing the alarms about how safe we all are not because the police are starting to attack us and that ICE is starting to attack us. And it's like, with all due respect, what the hell do you think we've been telling you for the last 70 years? What you're afraid of has been our reality for all of this time. We've been telling you this for years. And only a few of you actually heeded it properly. And it's the same thing I said about genocide, or a lot of y'all 3 years ago. It's the same energy. I've been telling you what I've been saying. These people are killing children on purpose while people are watching. They have no shame. And a lot of y'all feel so distant from those realities, or put so little credence into people like myself who are telling you this, that the disconnect between the urgency that you should be putting out there and what it is that you're actually putting out there is rather evident to the rest of us who've been paying close attention to this. You don't seem to get it. You don't seem to understand how close that violence is to your home until they actually start doing things like this, to where you get it. Now, like, oh no, we're really in danger. Well, if you were heeding this properly, you would have understood you always were. Just because they were turning their attention and putting violence on other people that didn't look like you and leaving you alone didn't mean that they weren't going to turn their attention to you eventually. That's what it does. And so as black people and brown people have been telling you about ICE and the cops for 70 years, I'm telling you that this is the same thing that I'm applying to the genocide that I've been watching in Gaza. That is not something that's distant from you to the point where they can't turn their attention to you. They control your country. The same people who are killing them over there, who find it reasonable to destroy their families, destroy their neighborhoods, kill the kids, those are the same people behind the government that you are voting for. Those are the same people who are pushing a lot of the policies in position. These are the same people who are training your cops. The people who are killing those kids are training your cops. The people who are committing this genocide, they're training ICE. The same funding that's going into them is going into ICE. And yet you don't see the correlation between the violence that's taking place to those kids and the potential danger that your children are in under these people's rule. And it's that disconnect. It's that delusional distancing from something happening to people that look like you to what's actually happened to people who don't, by the same people who have control over you, that's ultimately going to leave us caught off guard by the genocide that could potentially be coming our way. And y'all didn't give a shit until it started hurting people that look like you. You don't feel like you can relate or feel any urgency to connect to this violence as it pertains to being empathetic towards those who are having it inflicted upon them until it's somebody that looks like you. And that is one of the most dangerous realities about being an American, is that you can destroy stuff all the way around this country, but within this country we don't feel any urgency until someone within our country actually goes through it. Then all of a sudden it becomes panic mode. By way of those measures, do we align that with any other form of danger? No, but as it pertains to the violence that takes place in other countries, surrounding countries, the mistreatment of people that don't look like you, don't look like us, it's like, well, it's over there. Not only is it over there, but it's not even close to me. It's not happening to me. It's not going to happen to me. I can live my little daily lives in my little bubble of consumerism and propaganda and entertainment, and it's never going to come my way. And if it were to come my way, I have some disconnect as to how devastating it would be. And this is the problem with being underneath this American regime, underneath this American flag, that we have this disease of just not holding any urgency for what happens to other people. Urgency as it pertains to, okay, they're getting plagued by something that's devastating, that was the worst thing we've ever seen, everything we will ever see. But it's not happening over here, so I'm safe. Nah, that is a disease. Y'all gotta get that out y'all heads, man. If they doing it to them people over there, they're gonna turn it to you eventually. And as they do, suddenly you're gonna act like you've never been warned, like you ain't never seen nothing like it, like such a thing is just the most foreign, and oh my God, the woe is me, the sky is falling. And I'm telling y'all, man, if we can't identify where we're doing that, or if we can't identify where that's taking place, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. I've been watching the genocide for 2 years now, 2 whole years. I've been watching people, kill kids, man, and just justify it with narratives that don't even have any merit whatsoever, man. Holes all through the lies that they tell. Children as young as 6 months getting knocked off. And I'm telling you, those people who are doing that to those people, they have control over what's going on in your country. You've been paying for the bombs that they drop on those kids. The same people, as I've already mentioned in this video, who have trained those soldiers who are killing those children, who are targeting those children, they're using the same funding to train your police, to train the ICE, to train a lot of your patrolmen, border patrol, military. They're using the same money. The same fighter jets that your Navy and your Army and your guys are flying, They're selling them to those people. They have the same jets you got. Like, at some point in time, we have to start respecting the urgency of these matters. Respecting the urgency of these matters. So we don't find ourselves in situations where we're caught off guard by the violence that could be pointed at us thereafter. I just want people to respect that. That is a real thing. If we're going to continue to be in a space like this, we could find ourselves in some unprecedented dangers, man. And that's what I'm saying. We got to change our frame of mind as Americans, bro. Stop waiting for things to turn to us before we start feeling urgency about the nonsense that's happening to others. If they turned it to them, we're on the same slab of land. It's the same earth. And if you let somebody get away with doing something horrible to some other people, what you think they're going to do? Just be satisfied? You think they get full and just don't need to do it anymore? No. Now they know they can get away with it. They're going to do it more. They're going to turn that attention to other people. That bloodthirst continues, man. And we understand that about human behavior. So why would we think it would change in this regard? I've been utterly disgusted with the lack of urgency and the lack of relatability of my countrymen as it pertains to the things that I've been paying attention to. And to us utterly disgusted with myself for also being a part of that bubble leading up to that point where things have been happening all over the world for which I felt so far away from. But with this genocide, it made me see it, pulled the wolf from over my eyes to understand, yo, this is something you need to get involved in. You need to know what's going on here. This ain't the time to just be taking selfies of yourself and your food. This ain't the time to just be trying to get money and that's it. You need to really use your voice and use your ability to post, to raise awareness to anyone who's paying attention to your channel and to your page about the things that you are now witnessing in this world. It's not the time to be over here, over there type energy. It's time to be centered, focused, and aligned with being the voice. When you understand that you have an entire conglomerate of people who are trying to use every means they can of silencing the realities of horrors that people are facing, you know that the truth is only going to come through people like yourself sharing it with the people next to you, because they're not going to get it on the news. They're not going to get it on the main platforms. So it's incumbent upon all of us as a responsibility to spread the word about what is being suppressed. That is why I post so much. That is why I am so political with my Instagram, because I understand that this is how the information gets spread. Because I can't count on CNN. I can't count on Fox News. I can't count on MSNBC. I can't count on none of these people. They're not going to tell us the truth. They're paid not to. They're controlled by the bad guys who are doing the bad things. I got to get the information from people who are actually strong enough to do it, who are not compromised or paid for by these people. And I got to utilize my ability to share on my platforms what it is that's there. It's the only way the truth is going to bleed through. It's the only way people are going to be properly prepared for what could potentially be the coming their way. It's only the way people can stand on the right side of history or what it is that they're ultimately going to be judged for by being behind enemy lines, for which all of us are in the Western world. When you listen to your news, they're going to tell you that brown people are the worst thing in the world. You need to be afraid, and that your only responsibility is to vote and pay taxes. Taxes that they're going to use to further do these evil atrocities, and votes that barely count, because they're going to push into these damn seats whoever the hell they want there. Whoever's going to align with what it is they want. Whoever's done enough evil that they can blackmail them in regards to. That's the reality. And so how does that information get through? With people like myself, people like you, posting, getting that information, sharing it with others, sharing it with the people who follow you. It's the only way they're going to get it. Otherwise, we're just going to be like that dude in Minnesota, eating all the slop propaganda slop that they ultimately have to feed us, and molding our personalities and our opinions around that slop, which at this point is a failure on a lot of us for allowing our fellow man to fall any further into that hole. If we're doing what it is I just described, fewer people will be able to fall into that hole in the next generation. But you can't be aside from quote unquote politics. It's not politics. It's humanity. It's preparation and understanding of the threats that are out there and the potential danger that you and your family could be in, and the potential danger that your business and the atmosphere, the environment of your business could potentially be in tomorrow if this world goes to crap like these people are trying to push it toward becoming. And so that's really what I want to say, man. I just want people to, from this day forward, fathom what it is that I described and start doing what you need to do to wake up. Do what you need to do to wake your brother and your sister up and your family member up and your grandmother up and your kids up. Y'all all need to wake up. There's a genocide going on in the world, and that we're not that far from it, and that we're not special. That they could very well kill 1 million of our children tomorrow. It is not beneath them to do that. In fact, it's on brand with them to do that. And they're doing it in unprecedented ways. And if you don't want to be caught off guard by that, you need to start paying attention to what they're doing in Gaza. So that when they turn that attention to you, you'll have a fighting chance. You'll stand a chance. That's really what it is. The shit that they've been doing to these people in Gaza, if it were to happen here, these people would be losing their minds. People would be committing suicide to avoid the trauma that's going on in Gaza. Having not had any idea it was coming, when they should have full on well known all about that type of behavior and that type of treatment, and who is doing it and what their intentions are and how much control they have over here, and how much control they have over South America, how much control they have over Australia, how much control they have over the Middle East, how much control they have over certain African nations, etc. They control a lot. That they've been selling you OnlyFans, that they've been controlling the markets that sell you your drugs, that they continue to own all of the media in this country and other countries abroad. How much control these genocidal monsters actually have in your life over what it is that you put your money into, over your banking systems. Some of the natural disasters are not so natural in this world because they control a lot of what goes on in this world. Some of these terrorist attacks that you think were so horrible done by brown people were done by them. They orchestrated a lot of those assassinations. They orchestrated a lot of these things that ultimately you've seen and terrorized. They orchestrated a lot of what happened with the pandemic and all of that. They controlled all of that. You get dig into everything that we're learning about these people, they have been just single-handedly creating nothing but chaos in the world and making money off of it. Creating entire colonies of their own people in your own country, eating up a lot of your money. I was looking at some footage that came out this morning. An entire Jewish community somewhere in upstate New York, they don't even work. All of them take on public assistance and all of that. You talk about all the people who are eating off public assistance and all the people who are welfare recipients and all of that. Jewish people that don't work, a whole town of them that don't work with like 13 kids. They get nothing but free health care. Israel getting free health care. Free. While you have to spend all of your life savings on fighting cancer, these people are getting free health care. While you're working 4 and 5 jobs, they getting free health care. Like, this is the type of stuff that it's like, yo, if you're not aware of this, you don't realize you're getting screwed over by these people. You don't realize that a lot of the trafficking stuff that's going on in this world is because of their funding. Organ trafficking and stuff, their intentions, their funding. All these different terrorist organizations, they fund them, they give them weapons. Like, you better know these. If you don't know these things, I can guarantee you're gonna be caught off guard by what plans they have for you next. You're going to be caught off guard by what it is that their actual intentions are with all of this. We are sacrifices to these people. They're going to sacrifice us to the devil they serve if they have the opportunity to do so. They need us for what they need us for, and they want to kill us after that. And that's exactly what I know. This is what they've taught me over the last 3 years. It's what's there to learn about them. So we can do whatever we want to do. We can say whatever we want to say. No, it's not going to happen to us. Oh, that's just brown people. A lot of people are cloaked under the evil of racism, so it doesn't allow for them to see the urgency of protecting themselves because they're too busy celebrating the suffering of others. That's in place for a reason. That's meant to make it so that you don't see the fruit in stopping those intentions with urgency necessary to save others, so that when they're done with others, it'll ultimately leave you wide open to get hit by that same energy. If you were rooting for others with the same energy that you root for your own, you would have been able to stop the threat that kills us all. That's the point. That is the point. But you would have none of that. You're too busy doing what you're trying to do. You're too busy planning for whatever you're trying to plan, for which these people have no intention of allowing you to actually see all the way through. They're trying to bring hell on earth while you're trying to build a business that's supposed to last 40 years. They don't plan on even having this thing spent for another 40 years of what it is they're trying to do. That's the point. Y'all building wealth, it ain't gonna be worth a damn. Y'all gonna be in y'all graves, having died horrible deaths because of these people, being their slaves if you survive. That's what they want. I sound like a madman when I say it. That's because you haven't done the homework. It's because you don't actually know that's there. That's the point. If you knew it was there, you would know what I'm saying is not extreme at all. It's exactly what's going on. They want to silence people like myself so that we don't enlighten other people as to their presence and their true intentions, man. And what it is they've already proven through their actions and how little they give a damn about the rest of us. Whoever you believe you are. This is the Antichrist in human form if you don't know. This is exactly what this is. They're here to do the devil's bidding, and they're here to lie the whole way through, man. And if you don't start up raising awareness amongst yourselves and amongst your loved ones about what it is they're doing, if you don't learn about what it is that's out there, believe me, man, you're going to be caught off guard when they turn that genocidal intention towards you and your family. You're going to be caught all the way off guard. You ain't going to see it coming. You ain't going to know what's coming. You're going to try to raise your awareness. You're going to be talking about freedom this, rights this, and they're going to be giving you the finger, followed by whatever the hell they have intended for you. Can't you see that with this ICE situation? You got a bunch of entitled Americans still running around talking about their Constitution and their rights. These people don't give a damn about your rights. It's an apartheid country controlling your government by way of blackmail. They don't give a shit about your rights. The only amendment you need to be worried about is the second one. Everything else will not be honored by these people. They believe they're above you, and they're trying to do something biblical here. They're trying to bring forth some biblical-like anarchist reality that ultimately brings about who they believe their savior is going to be. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is some weird stuff they got going on, man. They're not interested in your rights. They're not interested in what you stand on. And that Constitution ain't about to save you from these people. I promise you it's not. Bdf 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.